Well, I've been tagged again, this time by LindaMac. She lives over in England, and she subscribed to me a couple of weeks ago. And first of all, sometimes it astounds me. Okay, this will be fact number one. Sometimes it astounds me what kind of people subscribe to the Smerdley channel, you know, because I get all kinds of people. And I was thinking that LindaMac is such an elegant, wealthy seeming person from England that perhaps she saw one of my videos and was impressed by it. And then, you know, I keep wondering if she's going to look at some of my other videos and see me beating up a rubber baby doll and spitting on it, or and acting like a complete jackass, and she's going to go, ew, what a crude bastard, and unsubscribe to me. But maybe not, okay. I hope not. This being fact number one, let's see. That was fact number, okay, we'll go on to fact number two. See this place where I live here? I think sometimes that I have to be shocking or lurid, you know, when I do 5 facts about myself, like, you know, I was born with a tail, or I was born dead and stayed dead for 5 years, and now I'm walking around dead, or something, you know, really shocking like that, like I beat somebody to death with a claw hammer until the hammer broke, and then went and got another hammer and broke that one too. No, well, anyways, this being fact number two, this apartment here, not this room here, but the other room over there, well, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago, I met some little short guy, a young guy, out in front of the 7-Eleven a couple blocks away. And he seemed lost, and he wanted to talk, and he wanted a Slurpee, which is a frozen drink. So I bought him one, and we talked, and I said, come on over. And for some reason, I brought him over here to the apartment, and you aren't going to believe this, but after he left, I took a nap, and I woke up, I thought, who was that guy? He just seemed so familiar. It was Jesse James Hollywood. He was one on America's Most Wanted, and he was since apprehended in Brazil, but he killed this 15-year-old kid. Him and his friends killed him, and over a drug deal gone awry, you know, involving the kid's older brother. And I looked Jesse James Hollywood up on the internet and noticed that the ear was the same, and some of the pictures I saw, that's him exactly, that was him, and it had the same little crimp in his ear and everything. And I started recalling what the guy had talked to me about. And he told me his name was Shane, alright, and that he renamed himself after a good cowboy, and asked me if I'd ever seen the movie Shane. And he said his mother named him after a bad guy, a cowboy outlaw, okay. And he said that things were really good for him, and then everything went to shit. And he said he'd been living out in the desert, whatever that meant, by himself, away from people. And he came back in to talk to some guy named Kennedy, I couldn't figure it out. Kennedy? No, Kennedy. And he asked me if I wanted to buy some embalming fluid. I said, what? What do I want embalming fluid for? I mean, do I look like Jeffrey Dahmer or something? And he said, no. He said he used to make methamphetamines, and he had some embalming fluid stashed in the area, and he needed some money. I said, no, I don't need any embalming fluid. And then he looked around, and at the time I had these missing person flyers and missing pet flyers up on my walls just for the hell of it, because, you know, I think such things are funny because I'm morbid. He said, what do you got all these pictures up here for of missing people? And I said, well, because I like them. And then the guy was like, I don't know, about 5'2", and he got up on the chair with his feet and put his butt on the back of the chair, so he was at a level higher than me. And he looked really wild, like it was Manson eyes, you know. I thought, he's a scared little kid. He's just scared, you know. And I don't know. He said he had to go make a phone call, and he said, "Will you leave the door unlocked? I'm coming right back." And he left, and he never came back. Okay, so I took a nap, and I woke up and looked up Jesse James Hollywood on the internet, and there he was. And since then, a couple months ago, I bought the DVD of Alpha Dog, which is based on the story of Jesse James Hollywood, and the actor who played the guy representing Jesse James Hollywood sort of had the character of the guy pretty well done. He's just a little punk and a little scared cat. Okay, I live in Southern California, and there's a lot of talk about what, wannabe black gangsters, these little Mexican kids of illegal immigrants are. But the movie Alpha Dog is about the children of the super wealthy, okay, who are trust fund kids, and they want to talk all gangsta and all that stuff, motherfuck this and motherfuck that, and be all tough and shit and all, whatever that shit is, And these kids have, they're raised as godless. Their parents will say, here's a brand new car, and here's $10,000, run along and play now, dear. They'll give them anything, but they don't give them love, and they don't give them any kind of guidance or teach them any morals. And that's what the movie Alpha Dog is about. That kind of kids here, okay? There's plenty of them around, and they're just as much garbage as kids raised in the ghettos, or barrios or anything like that, They're just, that's what that movie's about anyways. Was that fact number 2? Okay, Jesse James Hollywood was here in this apartment for about half an hour one time when he was still on the run. Okay. Fact number 3. My next fact is for LindaMac only. No one else will be able to relate to this. When I was a kid, I was growing up in Erie, Pennsylvania, on the lake, and we used to get BBC broadcasts from across the lake. And one of the BBC broadcasts that I used to love watching was the Eric Sykes Show, the original one, a half-hour comedy show with in which he played Eric and his sister Hattie, played by Hattie Jacques. And my favorite episode of all, the funniest one, was one which was filmed totally in whiteout. There was nothing on the screen, it was just white. And there was a London fog, and somehow Eric or Hattie had left the window open, and the London fog had gotten inside their flat, and Eric had to go to the store for something, and he was afraid, Hattie was afraid he might get lost in the fog and not find his way back, so he tied himself on a long rope to the sofa and went out, and it was all these adventures of him bumping into the Bobby and the, different people in the dark, in the fog. And then he went to the store, and when he came back, he followed the rope back, and he found the sofa, but he couldn't find Hattie, where are you? And so he decided, well, I'll just sleep the night out in the fog by morning. So he got on the sofa and went to sleep. And then the next thing you know, he was in the middle of this square, London Square, I think, and the fog had lifted, and he was sleeping on a sofa, and he said, blimey, I've been dragging this sofa all around London. I love that episode. And my last fact, very briefly, is that I always loved that song LindaMac on your video, Ferry Cross of Mercy by Jerry and the Pacemakers. And as a matter of fact, back then people were trying to cash in on the Beatles, and there was a record released in America and never went anywhere. It was Why by Tony Sheridan and the Beatles. So I bought the album with Tony Sheridan, and I thought he was great, okay? You remember Tony Sheridan, don't you? Well, anyways, my last fact is that I'm not going to tag anybody because I don't believe in putting that burden on other people.